Let's talk about progressive family values. Tell me what you mean by that.
It's extremely important to understand that family values are political. There are two versions, strict and nurturant, progressive and conservative. This is not an issue separate from the way politics works in the country, and the right wing understands that. You can see it in what James Dobson does. James Dobson has got one of the worst child rearing programs in the country and the biggest and most influential. He runs an operation called Focus on the Family. He is on more radio stations than any other commentator. He is in more newspapers than any other columnist. He needs his own zip code. This is a huge operation. He has, for the past 35 years, been the main person in this country behind conservative child rearing, which has expanded enormously all over the country. What he's done is to get conservative family values at the centerpiece of conservatism. And he's, from their point of view, right to do so, because conservative family values and child rearing really occupies the center of the conservative agenda. In a strict father family, you need a strict father because there's evil out there in the world and he's got to protect that family from evil. It assumes, for example, that kids are born bad and need to be made good, that there's an absolute right and wrong, and that the only way to turn kids into good kids is to beat the hell out of them, in essence, to punish them, whether psychologically or physically, when they do wrong. And Dobson is clear that the punishment must be painful. Painful enough so that the kids will have an incentive to do right, not wrong, and therefore discipline themselves internally. And if they have that internal discipline, then they will be able to go out into the world, seek their self-interest, and become prosperous. It's very important in conservative thought because what it does is link discipline with morality and prosperity. Those are the linchpins. And it has a logic. The logic is if you're not prosperous, you're not disciplined. And if you're not disciplined, you can't be moral, so you deserve your poverty. It says that social programs are all wrong, that they're all immoral. Why? They give people things they haven't earned, which takes away their discipline, which takes away their capacity to be moral, and it's therefore doubly immoral to do this. This is at the heart of conservatism. It's being taught all across the country. Tens of millions of children are being raised in this way of thinking. The idea is so that the children, if they follow this idea, then they can become their own strict fathers in a way when they grow up, and if not, they remain dependent. And it's what people who've studied child development have found to be one of the worst ways of raising children. It's detrimental to attachment. It's detrimental to socialization. Work in socialization theory shows that this authoritarian model of the family is a disaster. It creates children who have all kinds of problems, who are unsure of themselves, less capable of functioning socially, with less respect for people, with more tendencies toward violence. Strict father families tend to lead toward spousal and child abuse, not inevitably, but the way you go over the line in punishment and in establishing a father's authority is to abuse your wife or your child. Throughout the country, in schools, in daycare centers, you have reward and punishment systems. You need a positive child rearing movement that looks at what I call a nurture and parent model. A nurture and parent model says your job as a parent is to raise your children to be nurturers as well as to nurture your children yourself, and nurturance is two parts. Empathy, you care about your children, and responsibility. You take care of yourself and you take care of your children, and you raise them to care about other people, to take care of themselves, and to be responsible to others as well. And nurturance includes strength. You've got to be strong to be a parent. Respect, you have to respect your child to interact with them. You have to be open and honest with them and so on. And you have to set limits. And setting limits does not mean punishment. Setting limits has to do with the fact that children want to help their parents if their parents establish attachment appropriately, and if they establish mutual respect. Pediatricians all over the country recommend this way of raising children. Experts in child development recommend it. The actual studies of child development and the work of many pediatricians show that nurturance is the way to go. But it's not out there in the daycare centers, the churches. It's not out there in the preschools. It's not out there in the kindergartens and first grades and second grades. These are ideas that are crucial, and they're also central to progressive thought. All of progressive thought centers on the idea of caring about people and being responsible. We need saner family lives. The whole fabric of family life has been changed enormously in the past 30 years. We have an economic system that tends to drive down wages. Workers are seen as resources for making profit, and it's family life that suffers. You have people working longer and longer hours. Both members of a couple may have to work whether they want to or not. Children wind up being raised in front of the TV set. The idea of a sane, healthy family life is not seen as a national goal. It's crucial to our communities. It's crucial to the way we raise kids. It's crucial to issues like drugs in the suburbs, gang warfare. These are social ills that come from a source that people aren't talking about. And family values are crucial. The right wing understood that. They just had the wrong values. Family values connect to religion, they connect to politics, they connect to community and family life. They're extremely important to the whole fabric of the country. And unless you understand that, you will think that family values have nothing to do with politics, that politicians should stay out of the family, that government should stay out of the family, and so on. It shouldn't. These are crucial issues for our culture.
We hope you've enjoyed this segment. The next interview will deal with the critically important issue of the commons. Thank you for joining us on this and future installments on rockridgenation.org.